opinion for Night at the Gates of Hell.
A priest has hanged himself, which opened one of the gates of hell, which resurrects the dead who are hungry for some flesh. You play as David, someone who has lost a loved one because of this and is now locked up in his apartment with the undead walking around. Having enough and just wanting to survive, David must escape and find somewhere safe. Though the now resurrected priests in some cult are not done yet, as there are more gates to open. It's clear this game takes a lot of inspiration from Italian zombie horror flicks, with the plot being kinda close to City of the Living Dead, and it does capture the spirit of these type of movies. Like those movies, the plot can be kinda confusing or just random, and this game has that along with weird characters that David does run into. I wouldn't call any of this a negative. In fact, it's a pretty funny and enjoyable romp. The game also adds some notes you can find from the inhabitants that add a little something to it. This is a first-person shooter horror game in which you'll be blasting zombies, more specifically in the head. Yeah, the game takes the phrase "you gotta shoot them in the head" deadly serious, as shooting any other spot would be like throwing a bullet away. Not only that, when you take aim, you're not allowed to move, which kinda ups the tension as the undead gets closer. You do have the option to fire without aiming, but it's just less accurate, so you have to be really sure you want to take that shot. Another caveat is reloading can take a while, so you have to be aware of that as well. While ammo does feel sparse at some points, I never felt I was going to hit zero, since you do get two guns as you start with the pistol but get a shotgun later on. Now you may be asking, why do different guns matter if all it takes is one shot to the head to kill these zombies? Well, the shotgun not only gives you another ammo pool, but its shot radius is bigger, so you have a higher chance at hitting a headshot, be it aiming or not, and you could possibly hit more than one target. I will fully admit the hit detection can feel off, as I felt I perfectly aimed and shot only to completely miss. Though these were rare situations, at least for me. When you do get a headshot, you get this great sense of satisfaction seeing the zombie fall right to the ground. If the zombie gets too close, it will result in a death as you die in one hit. Now this sounds like this will be a pain in the ass, but the game negates this in a few ways. One being a defense weapon, which is a knife you can find around the area, allowing you to automatically stab a zombie if they get on you. You can carry multiple knives and even check how many you have on your person at all times, and I feel this more than enough. The other defensive move is just flat out dodging the zombies, which isn't too hard since most do walk around kinda slow with only a few variants getting some speed. Not to mention, for them to actually trigger the animation to bite you, you have to be really freaking close. It also seems death just starts you either at the last checkpoint or where you literally died, so you don't lose that much progress even if you do kick the bucket. If you want some puzzles, well, you're not getting it here. Most of the game is usually just, hey, we need these things, can you go get them? And then you go collect them while fighting the hordes of the undead. I don't see this as a bad thing, but I thought I would let you know. Exploration is pretty straightforward as well, even with some different paths it's hard to get lost, with only a slight chance of that happening at the final area. I would also like to mention I don't like how doors work in this game, as you don't push a button to open them, and instead you have to push them open with force, which can be rather annoying. After completing the game, you do unlock the option to pick any of the chapters to replay, and even some extra modes. One is called the Booty Creek Cheek Freak, and the other is Evil in the House of Dr. Fleschenstein. Booty Creek Cheek Freak is like a 30 minutes to an hour at most, where the story is basically this monster in a gimp suit that wants your cheeks, and yes, it's as dumb as it sounds. There is a ton of lowbrow humor here, even with some poo jokes, and if this bothers you, then I would recommend to stay away. But for me, I don't mind some lowbrow humor, so I was chuckling a lot. After some events, the main game starts, which has you searching for some bone pieces to flush them down the toilet. Though you have to look at your air freshener meter, as if it goes down, the cheek freak will smell them cheeks and run at you to kill you, and you have to start all over. I will admit I did start to get frustrated with this mode because the area where you have to look for the bones looks so damn similar that it's easy to get lost. And since you're basically timed with the fresh meter and the only way they make it go back up is to find more air fresheners in the samey looking area, there will be moments where you have only one bone left only to fucking die. So this mode offered me some laughs and frustrations at the same time, and I just got lucky and was able to beat it. Dr. Fleschenstein is basically a survival mode where tons of zombies come at you with each wave getting more hectic. Each kill gives you points in which you can fill up your ammo, buy a shotgun, and open more doors so you have more space to move around in. There is a little story you can unlock by finding clues and items to turn on the power box, or you can just see how long you can survive. This mode can be hard as nails, but there is an exploit to be found if you're having trouble. All in all, it was a fun little extra. This game's going for that retro look of blocky characters back from stuff like the PS1 era. And it does add to the game's charm, just like the corny voice acting and animations such as the knife kill animation, and even how the zombies walk. Speaking of zombies, while blocky, they do have pleasing grotesque designs to them, and not all of them repeat said design. So you will be seeing a varied amount of zombies, be it missing limbs, and the game is not afraid of adding younger zombies. Each chapter also has a different look, be it an apartment building or a town, so you won't become bored with your surroundings. The game is also extremely violent, such as the amount of blood you see killing a zombie, or when certain characters die. It's all very good. I also like the nice touch of being a horror movie that we get a gameplay section that feels like an opening moment with two non-important characters, and well, you know what that means. Now the game ain't really scary, but it does have a nice horror atmosphere, and even the music does a fine job of capturing the feel of an Italian zombie flick. And while there is nudity in the game, it's still very minimal, but if it still bothers you, you can turn it off. The game does also have visual options you can turn on and off, such as a CTR TV filter and a lot of camera effects such as VHS, PS1, or none. The footage you're seeing is all with CTR off and the VHS effect on. This never visually impaired me in the main game, and the only time I turned it all off was during my time in the cheek mode, as it was sorta hard to see there. You would think a game like this would have some tech issues, but besides the hit detection situation I already talked about, it ran nice and smooth.
Ahoy there! Thanks for helping us out. It's very appreciated. Myself and these fine folk were going to try and sell out of here on my boat. I heard on the airwaves, before that went out, of an island.
This was an enjoyable romp with some charm, with its random story and strange characters. The gameplay is also fun, even with some of its wonkiness, and you have a lot of visual options to fit your preference. It took me about 4 hours and some change to beat the main mode, with replay value coming from the Cheeks and Flechenstein extras you unlock. I would recommend this to those into zombie flicks, especially old Italian ones, just as long as the visuals don't bug you and you don't mind its, let's say, odd personality. So go walk forward to the gates of hell. I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this game, and for gamer's sake, keep gaming.